Everyone wants to be liked. We hunger for the acceptance, understanding, and esteem of those around us. Unfortunately, we sometimes alienate individuals unintentionally, even when we mean well. Of the two, which is worse? When asked, few will explain why. Calmly, they begin to separate themselves. You may be secretly hated by some people, and we're going to explore 11 of those reasons today. The effect these actions may have on your relationships may be greater than you think. By the time you reach the conclusion, I assure you that you will have gained a deeper understanding of yourself and some useful insight. From the Stoics, we can begin immediately. Reason number 1, you are too self-centered. It's a fact that we all enjoy receiving a little bit of attention. It would be nice to have a pat on the back, a word of praise, and a shining moment. Humans have an inherent inclination to do so. On the other hand, there's a thin line that separates the pursuit of validation from becoming self-centered. Whenever you go beyond that threshold, you become a bother to those around you. Imagine being trapped in an elevator with someone who wants to talk about themselves non-stop, completely oblivious to the fact that you are attempting to enjoy a moment of peace and quiet. Imagine, for example, a dinner party where one of the guests takes the lead in the conversation, leaving the other guests with the impression that their thoughts are no longer relevant. In circumstances like these, individuals are more likely to feel resentment toward you. Insecurity that is deeply ingrained is frequently the source of self-centeredness. People have a tendency to try to compensate for feelings of inadequacy or unworthiness by persistently seeking attention and approval from other people. In this way, we might become more and more dependent on the approval of others, which makes it even more difficult to cultivate a healthy sense of self-worth. This can lead to a vicious cycle. He once stated, "The only way to avoid being a nuisance to others is to be a nuisance to yourself." Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, was a proponent of this philosophy. To put it another way, if you are always looking for positive reinforcement and attention from other people, you are likely to irritate them. Make it your priority to cultivate a sense of self-worth and contentment within yourself instead. When you are completely content with who you are, you will be less dependent on the acceptance of others, and it will be easier for you to be a positive influence on other people. Conquering self-centeredness can be accomplished through the following practical tips. Always make it a point to pay attention to what other people are saying when you are in their company. Exhibit a sincere interest in comprehending their thoughts and emotions. Spend some time appreciating the positive aspects of your life, whether they are large or tiny, and express gratitude for them. Moving your attention away from yourself and onto other people can be facilitated by this. Donate some of your time. Compassion and empathy can be developed through the act of assisting other people. Put limits in place. When you're feeling overwhelmed, don't be scared to say no to others. Being self-sufficient and putting your own requirements first is an essential practice. If you are having difficulty with self-centeredness, reach out to a therapist for assistance. They can help you come up with coping techniques and determine the underlying causes of your conduct. Keep in mind that it is perfectly okay to feel proud of your achievement. Nonetheless, it is essential to maintain a healthy balance between arrogance and respect for other people. Reason number 2, you are always right. A person who is always right is disliked by everyone. People are going to get sick of your ego if you are constantly attempting to prove that you are right, even when it is obvious that you are incorrect. It is not a bad thing to admit when you're wrong. Indeed, it demonstrates both humility and character. According to a quote attributed to Seneca, it is a sign of weakness to be unwilling to admit one's mistakes. It is a fallacy to believe that one can always be right. There is no one who does not make errors, and it is essential to recognize this fact. Your refusal to acknowledge that you are in the wrong sends the message that your ego is more important than the relationships you have with other people. This might result in feelings of bitterness, conflict, and isolation. There are many reasons why people insist on being right, but one of the most common is the fear of losing face. They may be under the impression that confessing they made a mistake will make them appear incompetent or weak. Nevertheless, the contrary is frequently the case. You demonstrate that you are self-assured and mature when you are willing to acknowledge that you have made mistakes. More than that, it reveals that you place a higher importance on honesty and integrity than you do on your ego. For those who struggle to resist the need to be right all the time, here are some suggestions. Actively listen. When someone articulates a viewpoint that differs from your own, pay close attention and make an effort to comprehend their point of view. Consider the potential that you could be wrong. You should maintain an open mind and be willing to modify your views. When you make a mistake, it is important to apologize for it. A genuine apology can go a long way toward healing relationships that have been damaged. Demonstrate empathy by making an effort to understand things from the perspective of other people. Understanding why somebody might disagree with you can be facilitated by this information. Building relationships should be your primary priority. Rather than trying to prove that you are correct, you should concentrate on developing strong and healthy relationships with other people. A Debbie Downer is someone that no one wants to be around. It is highly likely that people will avoid you like the plague if you are continually moaning, whining, or finding the next negative in every scenario. You should make an effort to spread some cheer instead, because positivity is contagious. He argued in his meditations that the best revenge is to live a good life. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman philosopher, spoke of negativity as being akin to a sickness. It is possible for individuals around you to be negatively affected by your habit of continually complaining and concentrating on the negative aspects of life. People may begin to avoid you because they experience feelings of exhaustion and dissatisfaction after spending time in your presence. People are typically negative because they are frightened of being let down. This is one of the reasons why some people have the misconception that if they don't anticipate anything positive to occur, they won't be upset when things don't go as planned. Having this perspective can actually make it more challenging to accomplish your objectives and enjoy life. To help you overcome negativity, here are some tips. Take some time out of each day to reflect on the positive aspects of your life and cultivate an attitude of thankfulness. Taking this step can assist you in shifting your emphasis away from the negative. In the event that you catch yourself thinking negatively, it is important to confront those thoughts and replace them with more optimistic ones. Your mood and outlook on life can be improved by spending time with positive individuals. Therefore, it is important to surround yourself with people who have a positive attitude. Engaging in creative activities may be a wonderful way to express yourself and reduce stress. Find a creative outlet and participate in creative activities. Seek the assistance of a trained professional. If you're experiencing persistent feelings of negativity, you should consider consulting with a therapist. In addition to assisting you in developing coping methods, they can help you determine the underlying cause of your mood. Remember, negativity is a choice. It is possible to improve your mood, the quality of your relationships, and your quality of life in general by making a concerted effort to concentrate on the positive aspects of your life. Reason number 4, you are a gossip. Gossiping is an unhealthy behavior that can harm relationships. People will eventually discover that you are not trustworthy if you are always talking about other people behind their backs. If you want to focus on developing healthy relationships, you should keep your opinions to yourself. Epictetus is credited with saying, "What concerns me is not the opinion of others but my own viewpoint." Gossiping is a type of social violence that has the potential to have a disastrous effect on both individuals and societies. When we engage in gossip, we are spreading rumors, false information, and negativity, all of which have the potential to harm reputations, hurt sentiments, and create divisions.
A need for social affirmation is one of the reasons why people engage in gossip. They may believe that by spreading unfavorable information about others, they will be perceived as more intriguing, powerful, or knowledgeable. However, this approach to social interaction is not just short-sighted but also ultimately detrimental. Here are some suggestions for avoiding engaging in gossip. Take care of your own life and the people who are important to you. Mind your own business and keep your distance from the turmoil that other people are experiencing. If you have something negative to say about another person, you should either keep it to yourself or talk to them personally. Speak positively of other people. If you hear a rumor, do not repeat it. This is the best way to avoid spreading rumors. Instead, make an effort to discover the truth. Instead of engaging in gossip, concentrate on developing strong and healthy relationships with other people. Focus on forming positive connections. Remember that engaging in gossip is a choice. You can make the world a more pleasant and peaceful place for yourself and others if you make the conscious decision to be trustworthy, courteous, and kind. Reason number 5, you are a drama queen. A drama queen is disliked by everyone. People will become irritated with you and avoid you if you consistently make a big deal out of small things. Make an effort to keep your feelings in check and concentrate on the bigger picture. The words of Seneca can be summarized as follows. It is not the things themselves that disturb us. Rather, it is our judgments about them. Drama queens tend to exaggerate or sensationalize circumstances, frequently in an effort to garner attention or simmer. People have a tendency to overreact to relatively slight setbacks, build mountains out of molehills, or create unnecessary drama. The people around them may experience exhaustion and frustration as a result, which can lead to strained relationships and social distance. Having a fear of being ignored or neglected is one reason people become drama queens. They might think that by deliberately stirring up trouble, they will gain the attention and affirmation they desperately need. Nevertheless, this approach to social engagement is irresponsible, short-sighted, and ultimately damaging. To prevent being a drama queen, follow these helpful hints. When you are feeling agitated, take a step back and try to think about the situation impartially. To what extent do you believe it to be a problem? Confront negative thoughts. Challenge the thoughts that are causing you to exaggerate or catastrophize about a situation and replace them with concepts that are more grounded in reality. When you are upset, ensure that you express your sentiments in a manner that is both calm and useful. Refrain from ranting, setting blame, or making allegations. Keep in mind that the majority of issues are only temporary. Maintaining a sense of perspective and concentrating on the bigger picture is important. Seek the advice of a therapist if you are experiencing persistent problems with dramatic behavior. They can help you develop coping techniques and determine the underlying causes of your conduct. Don't forget that the behavior of a drama queen is a choice. Your relationships and your overall quality of life can improve if you make the conscious decision to respond to situations in a calm and sensible manner. Reason number 6, you are a leech. Eventually, people will begin to feel resentment
resentment toward you if you are always asking for favors or expecting them to do things for you. Rather than merely taking, strive to offer to the connections you have. Epictetus once stated, "We should not be like the beggar who expects everything from others." This is a powerful statement. Leeches are those who continually take from others without providing anything in return. They are always requesting favors, borrowing money, or expecting other people to take care of things for them. These behaviors can be exhausting and irritating for others who are around them, which can result in feelings of resentment and strained relationships. One of the reasons why people become leeches is because they are unable to provide for themselves. There is a possibility that they have difficulties taking care of themselves or satisfying their own requirements. As a result, they may come to rely on other people for everything, which can put a strain on the connections they have. To prevent leech behavior, here are some helpful hints. Make an effort to be self-sufficient and take care of yourself as much as you can. Managing your funds, taking care of your tasks, and finding solutions to your own difficulties are all important aspects of this. It is better to offer to assist other people rather than constantly requesting favors from them. This demonstrates a willingness to contribute to relationships. If someone does something good for you, it is important to let them know how much you appreciate it. Convey your thanks to demonstrate that you appreciate their generosity. Set limits. It's good to say no every once in a while. If you are not able to do something for someone else, or if it is something that you do not want to do, you should not feel forced to do it for them. Talk to a therapist if you are having trouble dealing with the conduct of a leech. Seek the assistance of a professional. They can help you come up with coping techniques and determine the underlying causes of your conduct. Remember, reciprocity is the foundation of strong relationships. You may avoid engaging in leech behavior and develop better, more rewarding connections with others if you are autonomous and contribute to your relationship. Reason number 7, you are passive-aggressive. The use of passive-aggressive behavior is a sort of emotional manipulation that can cause significant damage to interpersonal relationships. Behaviors that fall under this category include giving the silent treatment, making snarky comments, and sabotaging other people. People could participate in passive-aggressive behavior because they are afraid of confrontation. They might believe that expressing their displeasure directly will result in conflict or refusal. However, in the long term, this strategy may be more detrimental to individual relationships. To help overcome passive-aggressive behavior, here are some suggested strategies. Directly expressing your feelings is preferable to utilizing passive-aggressive strategies. It is important to communicate in an open and honest manner. Even though it may be challenging, this is the most effective method for resolving problems and establishing good relationships. If you are having trouble controlling your anger, there are a variety of strategies you may learn to help you master the art of anger management. Deep breathing, meditation, and therapy are sometimes included. Look for assistance from a professional. Consider consulting a therapist if you are having difficulty with passive-aggressive behavior. They can help you come up with coping techniques and determine the underlying causes of your conduct. It is important to keep in mind that passive-aggressive behavior is a choice. Individuals have the ability to enhance their relationships as well as their general quality of life by making the decision to speak in an open and honest manner. Reason number 8, you are a backstabber. Someone who is untrustworthy and will betray your confidence is commonly referred to as a backstabber. It is inevitable that others will ultimately discover that you are always talking about your friends behind their backs or sabotaging their success, and they will avoid you as a result. If you want to avoid adversaries, the best way to do it is to be a good friend. As Epictetus mentioned, a sort of treachery known as backstabbing can have a deleterious effect on the relationships involved. By betraying someone, we not only hurt their sentiments but also erode their trust, which in turn damages their reputation. Relationships might become strained, social isolation can occur, and credibility can be damaged as a result. People participate in backstabbing for a variety of reasons, one of which is the craving for social approval. They might believe that by speaking adversely about others they will be perceived as more intriguing, powerful, or skilled. However, this attitude to social interaction is not only short-sighted but also detrimental long-term. In order to avoid engaging in backstabbing behavior, here are some tips. Ensure that you are trustworthy by keeping the agreements you make, being truthful with others, and avoiding the disclosure of confidential information. It is important to speak nicely of others. If you have something unfavorable to say about someone, you should either talk to them directly or keep it to yourself. Refrain from spreading rumors. If you hear a rumor, do not repeat it. Instead, make an effort to discover the truth. Build strong, healthy relationships based on trust and respect, rather than backstabbing others. Always remember, backstabbing is a choice. When you make the conscious decision to be kind, honest, and trustworthy, you create a more positive and harmonious environment for yourself and those around you. Reason number 9, you are a bully. Any form of bullying is never tolerated. If you are always making fun of others, putting them down, or making them feel horrible about themselves, then you are a bully. Respect everyone you come in contact with, and be polite to other people. The famous Greek philosopher Epictetus once remarked, "The best way to live is to live in harmony with those around you." Bullying, which is characterized by the use of authority to do harm or frighten another individual, can manifest in various forms including verbal, emotional, physical, and even cyberbullying.
Bullying may have a terrible effect on victims of bullying often experience low self-esteem, sadness, anxiety, and even thoughts of suicide. A drive for power and control is one of the reasons why people become bullies. They may believe that bullying others will make them feel more powerful and important. This attitude towards social contact is not only destructive in the long run, but also short-sighted. Here are some suggestions for preventing bullying. First, do not be a bystander. If you see someone being bullied, do not just stand by and do nothing. Speak up and protect the person who has been victimized. Second, be a friend. Offer support and kindness to those who are being bullied. It is important to let them know that they are not alone. Third, report bullying. If you see bullying, report it to a teacher, a parent, or any person in a position of authority. Fourth, encourage acts of kindness and respect. Encourage others to treat everyone with kindness and respect. Remember, bullying is a choice. By choosing to be kind and compassionate, you can contribute to creating a more positive and inclusive atmosphere for everyone.
Reason number 10, why someone might secretly hate you. Hypocrisy. A hypocrite is someone who does not act according to their own words. People can see through hypocrisy if you continually tell others what to do without taking your own advice. As Epictetus once said, the best way to avoid hypocrisy is to live consistently with your own principles. In terms of deception, hypocrisy means pretending to have views or standards that one does not genuinely uphold. This results in a loss of confidence and trust. Hypocrites often claim one thing but behave differently, damaging their credibility. Some people become hypocrites because they want to appear moral or virtuous. They might think that portraying themselves as decent will make them loved and admired. If you want to be a good person, lead a good life. Put your words into practice. Walk the talk. Own up to your responsibilities. Acknowledge your errors and accept responsibility for your actions. Everyone has preconceived notions and prejudices. It is important to be aware of them and try to prevent them from affecting your actions. Hypocrisy is a choice. To build trust, credibility, and positive connections, make the conscious decision to live genuinely and according to your core beliefs. Reason number 11. You are a toxic person. A toxic person is negative, manipulative, and damaging to be around. They bring others down, make them feel bad about themselves, or cause drama. To avoid being toxic, strive to be a decent person. As Epictetus once noted, those who negatively impact others in their vicinity are toxic. Toxic individuals are manipulative, dominating, abusive, or simply unpleasant to be around. They create a toxic atmosphere that hinders others' ability to thrive and be happy. A profound sense of inadequacy or insecurity often contributes to toxic personalities. They may believe that by bringing others down, they will feel better about themselves. This attitude is irresponsible, short-sighted, and ultimately damaging. Toxic behavior can be identified by certain signs. Pessimism. Toxic people tend to have a negative outlook on life and constantly complain or find fault. Manipulation. They often use guilt, fear, or intimidation to manipulate others. Control. They have a strong desire to control others and their circumstances. Criticism. They frequently criticize others harshly or condescendingly. Drama. They may create drama or conflict to attract attention or exert control. If you or someone you know exhibits these symptoms, it is crucial to get professional assistance. Negative behavior can harm mental health and relationships. Here are some suggestions for overcoming harmful behaviors. Seek help from a trained professional. A therapist can help you understand the factors contributing to your behavior and develop solutions for dealing with it. Develop self-awareness. Take time to understand your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. This can help you recognize harmful patterns. Practice empathy. Try to see things from others' perspectives. This can help you understand the impact of your actions. Establish healthy coping mechanisms. Learn to manage stress, anger, and other negative emotions through appropriate coping strategies. Surround yourself with positive people. Spending time with upbeat individuals can help improve your outlook and mood. Engaging in harmful activity is a choice. You can create a more peaceful and satisfying environment for yourself and others by choosing to be kind, courteous, and positive. Therefore, those are 11 reasons why individuals might secretly harbor negative feelings toward you. It is never too late to turn things around. Work on these areas if you want to improve your relationships and become a better person. Take a leaf from the Stoics and prioritize leading a life characterized by virtue. Thank you for listening. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more insightful content. I'll see you next time.